All right, everyone, we're here today at the Fox Theater in Atlanta with the mighty John Petrucci of Dream Theater. So welcome, John.
What's up, Paul? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you again, man.
This theater is really, really nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, beautiful theater. It has the kind of the old school ones where they make the ceiling like a night sky with stars, and it's really pretty.
I came here once as a kid to see a Broadway show.
Yeah.
And I remember nothing.
Yeah, it's really nice. Really nice theater.
Interesting. Okay. Well, how's the tour been going?
Great.
And what's ahead for you? I mean, you got a lot of dates left, right?
A lot ahead, yeah. So we started the tour in Texas. We're sort of doing a big loop around North America. So we started in Texas, and we were just in Florida. Now we're heading up the East Coast. Okay. Eventually, we'll go across Canada, down California, and all that. End up in Arizona. So tonight we're in Atlanta. We have a big New York show coming up soon, hometown show. The tour has been great. It's Dream Sonic, which is our own branded traveling prog metal festival.
Right.
And in our first Incarnation, we have Animals as leaders, and Devin Townsend and Dream Theater. It's just been awesome.
I mean, that's something that you guys came up with, or is that something that I figured you and Tosin were talking about something, or no?
This is something that Dream Theater came up with. In fact, in all the nomenclature, it's Dream Theater Presents.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is something that we're doing, that we're going to try to continue to bring, basically all over the world in different formats as far as which bands are on the bill. Whenever it seems like a good time to do it, it's something that's fun. It sort of sheds a light on and brings attention to the whole world of prog metal, which is, as you know, that umbrella now has just, it's expanded, and it means so many different things. And so we're happy to take out artists that are representing, in their own way, different aspects of this genre, because it's become so diverse now.
Well, that's actually a good segue into something I wanted to ask you about. And because, in these interviews, you get asked the same questions over and over about very particular things. And I understand that. So I was thinking about something I think is more particular to you. Mm-hmm. And that is the business side of things. And more specifically, I don't know, I think we met in 2000 or 2001, something like that.
I couldn't tell you the exact year, but it was a while ago.
And the first time I met you, actually, it was in person, was at NAMM.
Oh, okay.
Because I came out and we took pictures, and it was very nerve-wracking for me because one of the first things we did was you said, "Okay, well, just come with me." And do you remember we went and got in a limo? Yeah. With Sterling.
Right, that's right.
And you said, "And here's my friend Luke." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh man, this is overwhelming."
Yeah.
And so I sat in the corner of a limo.
Right. Yeah, the NAMM show will do that. Brings together everybody.
Yeah, but it was awesome. You guys did an all-star show to kick off your working with Ernie Ball Music Man.
Right. Gotcha.
But what I've noticed, having known you for this long and kind of knowing Dream Theater, somewhat, is you've had really good business relationships.
Yeah.
I don't hear people talking trash about you, right?
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and I know one thing I tell my students, just that if they're going to play in a band, one thing they need to do, or several things, is, be on time.
Right.
And always don't be a diva. You want to make sure that you're the person who can roll with the punches. Yeah. And know your stuff. Yeah. I kind of tell them those three things. If you do that, people will forgive you for your mistakes, right, and they'll love working with you. Yeah. Right. So you've had very little, turnover in the band. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like it's not like a Malmsteen thing.
Right.
So, and you've had a lot of the same people I think you've worked with over the years as far as behind the scenes.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of our team, have been with us for a lot of them 20 years and some even longer. Yeah.
I've heard just so many nightmares from other artists about managers doing this and that and the other. Yeah. How did you, from the business side of things, find these sort of people to work with?
Well, first of all, to riff on what you said, on time is late, right? Late as you're fired. No, those are all good things to instill in people. I think, and one of the most important things about what you said and when you brought that up is really knowing your stuff, like being prepared.
Yeah.
All the people that I've come to surround myself with and the band has come to work with really are the kind of people that work hard. They know what, how to do their job, the best they can do it. And they're always looking to grow and they're always prepared and they're not caught off guard. Same with the musicians in Dream Theater and the ones that I work with on my, other projects and everything. Everybody walks into the room knowing, knowing the deal. So that's really, really important. And it's not that as a band or just even as an individual that we haven't been through those moments of like,
right.
Working with people that weren't so trustable. And we've been in positions where, it would have been better if we hadn't signed this or that, or we were a little smarter about this, but you learn from those mistakes.
Yeah.
And you find the people that not only you can trust, but you have this relationship where it kind of transcends from just being somebody, like you mentioned Sterling, where it's somebody you meet for the first time and you're meeting, inception is because it's a business relationship, but then it turns into a friendship and then turns into a family relationship. And then it's great because then you can have conversations that are real about all aspects of what you're trying to do together.
Right.
And you can really be focused and be on the same page. And that's been so important, for all of us, for me especially.
Well, and I think just being that way, you automatically weed out the people who don't make the cut,
Yeah, and it happens, unfortunately. And, sometimes it's, people mean well or whatever, but when you're in the midst of an organization or something that's highly professional, like you're expected to operate at a certain level, and if certain people can't or don't, then you're right. It's kind of like you learn who the people are that are going to be with you on that level.
Right. And that being said, I mean, you work with a number of gear companies, but it's kind of funny. I've always told people, if you are playing the gear, that gear moves out of the stores.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's just, an accidental thing. I think that is because you've been very selective about whom you've worked with.
Yeah.
And then the quality of the gear. I mean, it's just...
Right.
You don't see you slapping your name on a bunch of stuff that is low quality just to get some more product out.
No.
So, and I know the people you work with, some of the people you work with, at least I know, and they're great, amazing.
Yeah, they are amazing. Yeah, they're all.
I wanted to ask you though, why do you think that your gear does so well? But, and I'll tell you what my thoughts on it, but I want to know yours.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, it kind of falls under the whole branding part of this business, right? And that's not something that you really think about when you're younger necessarily, unless you're just totally hip to that whole world. But it turns into that, and hopefully in a way where exactly what you said is true, where if your name is associated with something, somebody knows it's going to be, the best version of that they can get, or they just know at least it's going to deliver on a really high level because your name is associated with that. But where that starts, without all that stuff in the way, where that starts is from a very genuine place. And I think that's the reason why I've been able to find success. So in other words, the gear that I play and the companies that I have signature endorsement relationships with are very few.
Yeah.
And they're only the companies that make stuff that I absolutely love, that I am absolutely like just so behind, so that if I get the opportunity to work together with them to create a signature version of what they do, that I am behind it 100 million%. Right. So when I this is stuff I actually really use. This is stuff I actually really love, and I could talk about it in a very genuine and passionate way. It's coming from a place that's, I guess, like, that's the word. It's genuine. And so when you put all that stuff together, this is stuff I love to play, and this is a design I had so much fun doing with them, and now it's something that not only I really enjoy, but I have a feeling you're gonna love this. It's like, check this out, like, play this guitar. This is like the best thing I've ever.
And that's one thing I was going to say is the authenticity of that really comes through.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think it's a couple of things. You clearly are passionate and authentic about the gear that has your name on it, but it's also the gear sells itself too.
Right.
Because in a live setting, there are very few people I can point to who really, you walk out of there saying, I want to replicate that tone.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
I've had these discussions, musicians discuss this stuff all the time. Yeah. And I think of you, and I think of people like Andy Timmons, and the ones who are out there who are very passionate about that piece of gear, and all they have to do is plug in and play it.
Right.
And it's clear that they're making some noise.
And I'm not fully taking credit for all, obviously if the companies and the people making this stuff weren't brilliant, and none of it would exist in the first place. So it's a team that's making this happen. And you're talking about live sound. I could have the best sound on stage. If our front of house man doesn't know what he's doing, you're not going to get that experience that you're talking about. So it's a team of really talented people working together. And, what I find as well, there's another aspect to this. Again, like you said, it's the authenticity thing. And this crosses over into even non-music related relationships. Like, I just happen to be wearing the Iron Smoke shirt. And like all these people, whether it's Sterling Ball or Brian Ball or Larry DiMarzio or the guys at Neural DSP or Tommy Brunette who runs Iron Smoke Distillery, or the captain who does my beard oil. So, or all the people that are involved in any of the companies that I am in partnership with, they're like-minded people. They're people that are equally as passionate, love the art of what they do. The people on the engineering level, whether it's the master distiller or the head engineer, are like, wizards at what they do, like just so good, and so they're like into the craft of what they do. And so you can have these incredible conversations that sometimes are really esoteric, but you understand each other, and you end up coming out with stuff that's like, you both agree is like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. Hey, you guys check it out. So that's part of it too.
Yeah, and that just goes back to the whole my business question. Yeah. How did you end up finding those people? But like you said, like-minded people kind of find themselves.
Right.
And you see how they work, and that relationship forms. And man, it's been amazing, obviously, with music, man. And I know the other companies too, because I was thinking, well, okay, he plays boogie live.
Yeah.
But I have your Neural plug-in because it's beautiful. They did a quality job on it.
I know. They knocked that out of the park.
And why not? Have a digital version that's more accessible to people like that.
Yeah. Well, that was something that took me a long time to get on board with. And the other thing about what we're talking about is a lot of these relationships, and I did touch on this, they happened organically. Mm-hmm. Like I was playing boogie amps like forever as a kid. Yeah. So my relationship with them started from just being somebody who used their product, not somebody looking to get an endorsement. Oh, I'll try this, I'll try that. It's just like, I love this amp. This is what I use. And then you form a relationship. And pretty much everything that I've done is like that. Yeah. I've always used Dunlop picks. I've only used Dunlop wahs. Like, I've only played DiMarzio pickups, etc. But in the case of the Neural thing, being an amp guy for so long, I always was like not really on board with the plug-in world. As much as the digital products were getting better and better, like it never really seemed something that was usable enough. Yeah. Like they were fun, but it wasn't until Neural DSP came along where And the first plugin I tried was the Pliny one, and I was like, oh my God, this sounds unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe it.
So many people reference that one.
I was like, this is coming out of my computer speakers. How is this happening? And then you start, again, then you meet these people and you start to work, man, these guys just like think the way I think. And you get on these calls and you're like, we're going to make the best damn plugin that's ever existed. And, let's roll up our sleeves because this is going to be really hard. We're going to have to do stuff that we've never done before. And those guys came to the table, and the archetype Petrucci they delivered is just so phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it made me think of just kind of the other items that you've put out there in a digital format as far as quality goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know when I pick up a Boogie or a Music Man, I know the quality that I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Had no idea going into something like that.
Yeah, and that was so important because it was a world that I was not really very familiar with or involved with. I didn't grow up with that. And so I knew that if I was going to have something that was a signature version, like, this thing better be like awesome in every way, because this is a world I don't know too well. Like, I had to learn a lot about it. I don't want this thing to come out and be like, yeah, I don't think so. Like, stick to your real in. But it's like every aspect, not only in the features and how it sounds, but the UI and how it looks. And all those discussions were so deep and involved. And then the thing comes out and you're like, oh my God, this is like so cool. And so they made me a believer in that technology. And now it's yet another way that we could play guitar and record, and, that's equally as satisfying.
Well, yeah, and absolutely, and to tap into your sound.
Yeah.
For a lot of people who didn't have access to it before.
Right.
So
and in that case, we wanted to just basically make a full guitar production suite that was my sound on every, like, from beginning to end.
Right.
And in order to do that in the physical world, you need hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm saying. And a truck.
All right. Well, everyone, I want to thank John for doing this today. We're going to keep him on schedule. If you've learned one thing today, it should be that you should be on time and be nice and put out quality things. So that was 3 things. So
that's beautiful.
All right.
I love it.
Thanks, John. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, buddy.
Thank you. All right.